That it's creating a hostile environment for all of us to work in, to have our social environment, to have in our academic environment, and that we need it to change. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm feeling it. Okay, so we'll wait about 10 more minutes, I'm thinking, and then we'll go in.
I mean, ever since I came here as a freshman, I've always seen Confederate flags. It's always made me uncomfortable. But recently our school has shown like a lot of support for our LGBTQ community, and as a result, in some sort of form of retaliation to that, people were wearing it way more and toting it around on their backs, which not only is a way to instill fear among students, it's a symbol of bigotry and hatred and intolerance, and it makes everybody feel unsafe. It's not okay.
As assistant superintendent, we're glad to see you. How can we help you today? I think that's probably the best way to start. You're here, you're concerned, and quite honestly, we'd like to listen.
These people were wearing this in statement claiming that there's invalidity in my feelings of this being a racist statement, that this was not something that was accepting and kind and something that was okay on a school campus. And then today I see the same thing and I feel that same emotion. And along with that comes the fact that this isn't just like hurting my feelings, this isn't hurting their feelings, it's the fact that if we speak out about this, we're afraid we're going to get hurt, that this has made our environment at school dangerous, that people are afraid to say that this is wrong. And that's where the problem comes in, that South has banned this knowing that it creates hostility, that it's a problem in the environment, and yet North has not done the same. And I feel, and I'm pretty sure I'm backed up, that if this is proven to be dangerous, to incite violence in the student body, that it should be a corporate white thing. This should not just be one school that decides to recognize it as a problem. There shouldn't be another instance to make it not okay. It should just be known that it's not okay. And I can't do it anymore. I can't feel dangerous at my school anymore. I'm there to learn. I'm there to be around my friends. I'm there to respect other people's beliefs. But I can't do that when they're endangering my own. Thank you.
We are allowing for this official symbol of hate to run rampant through our hallways at our school where we want to feel safe. I do not feel safe within my school anymore. Today was the day when I went to school for the first time and no longer felt safe. Monroe County has always been somewhere that has been a place of safety for me, that has been a place of refuge for me. But now, it was said to my friend, I was with her when this was said to her, it was said that if the faggots can wear their flag, then so can we, and that is unacceptable. That is hate speech, and that is related to the Confederate flag, making it a symbol of hate in our school. It is not just about racism. It is not just about anti-LGBTQ plus community members. It is about the safety of our students. It is about the safety of myself as an individual, it is about the safety of every single person in this room, every single person that walks through the hallways of North, because I do not feel safe, and I know that they don't either. And I have talked to so many people, I've talked to countless people who have told me that if I create a petition, they will sign it. If I do this, they will do it, because they don't want to see this anymore, but they're too scared to speak for themselves. And I just happen to not be scared to speak for myself, because I believe that the student's voice is one of the most important things that we can use, because we have the right to speak. And that is something that's also important to remember. I don't want for the individuals who are wearing the Confederate flag to feel attacked, because that is what they're doing to us, and I know how dehumanizing that can be. We want for these students to be educated on what they are representing and what they are showing us by wearing this flag within our school. And we need it to be addressed so that we can feel safe within our education, so that we can feel safe when we walk through our halls, because like Sarah said, we are scared that we are going to be attacked. And the main reason that the Confederate flag was banned at South was because violence ensued. And that is something we are working really hard as a student body to stop. We want this to be addressed prior to there being violence. And that's not saying that we would elicit anything, but that there's the chance. This is creating the opportunity for something to happen, and that is unacceptable. We need to stop it immediately so that everyone can feel heard, everyone can feel safe, and that we can continue our education in the best way possible.
Now, in Germany, the swastika is outlawed. It's illegal because it has such a loaded history. But just think about it, when right now we have a rise of neo-Nazis again surfacing in Germany, And what flag do they use? We do see the Confederate flag in Germany at neo-Nazi rallies. That's a point of concern. And I, as a German teacher, I feel privileged that I get to teach the students about the Holocaust. But I feel like we're forgetting the Holocaust pretty quickly. And there's language surfacing that is used by students that is straight out of the mouth of a neo-Nazi. And I can't stand for that. I, in Germany, could legally not even stand for that. But morally, I don't want to see my students in harm's way. And I have students come to me, they feel safe in my environment because I make it clear. Human rights are above all rights in my classroom. And when they come and tell me they feel safe to speak with me about it because of the tone I set, I feel like there are a lot of unequipped teachers out there that maybe don't know how to appropriately respond to the situation. I can relate it to terms in my family every time. And no one arguments or makes an argument against my position as a German because I take responsibility for our past. And I see the opportunity for something like this to happen in the US, and that frightens me. And especially the language that we're hearing, it is reminiscent of what has happened in the 1930s. And I really just want to reiterate that we need to raise awareness in terms of history and social consciousness. Yeah, so thank you.
I told the story of Brown versus Board of Education. I told the story of how integration was, to put it simply, was wrong in the way that it was enacted. And I told that entire story, and I get to the part where I'm talking about how Trayvon Martin was posthumously put on trial for his own murder, and I still have not included my opinion as much as possible. And I hear a kid in the room say, well, if you don't like this country, then you should just move out. And see, this is a kid that I interact with. This is a kid that I've hung out with on various occasions. This is a kid that I interact with on the daily. And what I'm trying to make people see in this community is that it's people that walk like us, talk like us, eat with us, talk to us, that act like this. It's a different thing. And then this conversation escalated to the point where he said, look at you, you're not a slave. What do you know about oppression? And then it escalated to, you should be thankful that you're not a slave. And I'm like, thankful to whom? To you? And he's like, yes, thankful to me. Thankful to us, So, and this is a kid who's like, but we're cool, right, buddy? Like, we're cool as long as you let me put my foot on your back. We're cool. So that was the insinuation. And he thought that our interactions would, just be normal like every day now. And this really made me see, I had a whole thing with a head wrap, which I put over my entire head, and it represented my African heritage, personally. And I took it to South, and I said, well, I'd like to wear this because it represents my culture. This is where I'm from. It's original of Senegal, which is where I was born, and I grew up in New Orleans, so I'm black all the way. This is me. Come on, please. And they said no. So I wore it again a few times. I got suspended, in school suspension. It was against the school rules to wear a hat. So I was in breach of school rules. So I understood that. I wrote a letter to one of my assistant principals instead of continuing to breach school rules because I decided that was stupid. I wrote a letter explaining why I should be able to, wear this head wrap because it's like a 7-page letter. The point was, he told me, well, we don't want parents to think that we got thugs running around here, because you wear one bandana, everybody's going to wear a red bandana, a blue bandana, everybody's going to be fake gang repping and stuff like that. And so me writing this lengthy letter to him was just to show, I'm not a thug, here's 7 pages on why I should be able to wear this. I think the final factor in them letting me wear it was intimidation. I went to the newspaper and I told them that, it's not direct racism. It's not even direct discrimination. What is discrimination, however, is that when I do explain to you why this is a big part of my culture, a big part of my history, you choose to ignore it because simply these are the rules. Because the rules weren't made for us. There's not a single institution in this country that was made for colored people. There's not one that was built for colored people.
This isn't just something that's affecting North students, it's reached our community. It's impacted us all negatively. We do recognize it as a problem, and if there isn't something done today, if you can't help us to make change on this issue, then we'll be back. Like, it's not going to stop here. And, I'm sure we can assure of that. We will be back, because this isn't just our emotions, this isn't just a one-time thing, this is something that we recognize is hurting us socially and academically, and it's
then I think what I'd like to do is to set up at each of the schools a group, a smaller group of you who may volunteer, that we start as early as tomorrow morning and start meeting. Because it's not just one action. You've all said that. It's just not one action. We have to continually work on this. It's an education piece. And we need your help. So if we can have a few representatives from each of our schools that start meeting with our administrators, we can start the dialogue. And I think that's incredibly important to get that education piece in place. Because this won't be the only thing, right? This is one thing. Okay, so we take care of this, but if we do no education, and that's what you've all said, it just continues on. How do we make sure we don't have to come here again? How do we feel safe in our schools?